Hello everybody, this week I'm in Memphis to talk at the Digital Project Management Summit here. There's a bit of a wind blowing up at the back, always with the weather. I just can't help myself. I just attended the penultimate session of the day, so I've got some notes here that I'm going to read because it's still fresh in my mind and I wanted to share it with you. The session was entitled The Agile Human. It was presented by Dave Pryor from Lead and Agile and Mika Trottier, who's from Shopify. And they talked about this concept of agility, but the fact that we don't really prepare our human beings for it. And they gave an excellent presentation on this thing called iterative human development in order to become more agile in the way that we work. They say it's really, really important that we become more agile in how we think about ourselves and make sure that we continue to develop ourselves. And this is something I've talked a lot about in the past, this concept of continually being the best version of yourself and understanding what that meant. So Dave and Mika outlined four elements to it. Discovery, constantly looking at your own vision for yourself. Who are you? What do you stand for? And what is it that you want to achieve? I think we talk a lot often about purpose, the big P, purpose. So they took us through an exercise that was really good in understanding what that purpose should be. The second thing they talked about was prioritization, was us understanding ourselves and in line with that purpose. What is it that we want to change? What's the thing that we suck at? And I love the language that they used because it was really quite confronting. But as humans, what do we suck at? And what do we want to address first? What's the one or two things? Obviously, by the time you get to 5 or 6, it becomes too big, too overwhelming, and it leads to inertia. Then Dave particularly talked about experiments. And what are the things that we're going to do to experiment in order to change this thing, and how are we going to measure whether we have actually evolved and kind of becoming that person that we want to be. And Mika as well talked about accountability, and I love that. I use this often in my programs. Is the programs are good, great, and you can have the most awesome 2 days, but who's that person once the program's finished who's going to hold you accountable? And it's similar here. They were talking very much about who's your buddy. Who's your friend? Who's going to help you? And often I think it's better if they're not a good friend who can help hold you accountable. And then the last part they talked about outcomes is making sure that you achieved everything that you wanted to achieve. Now, this thing called iterative human development, it never ends. It's something that we're continually working on throughout our lives. And I'm a big fan of staying relevant. I think that because our world changes, because our working practices change so much, it's important that we evolve with that and make sure that there's a language, a communication, and also the way that we build relationship stays consistent with the way the world is now. Anyway, it's a great presentation by Dave Pryor and Mika Trottier, who I'll name check in the above summary of this speech. Thank you.